Okay, so in the previous class, we were discussing about controlling, right? What is controlling basically? Controlling means we are setting up or we are putting up standards so that to meet or the plans to be followed, and we are making sure that we are meeting the standard. And that process is basically controlling. So we'll measure our actual performance. We'll understand what is the deviation. We'll analyze for the cause of the deviation, take up the corrective measures, and implement it. Okay, so that our plans are or our goals are met, right? So that is basically controlling. So this controlling can be used as a feedback system and as well as a feed forward system, right? Then how can it be used as a feedback system? Like we just said, we have a desired performance, or that is our standards which we are supposed to meet. We have our actual performance, so we'll compare that. We'll measure the actual performance, then we'll compare the actual performance against the desired standards, right? Now we'll see whether there is any deviations or not. Sometimes there may be, sometimes there may not be. If there are deviations, we'll analyze the causes of deviation. Why did such deviation come, right? And we'll make the corrective steps, corrective measures. We'll take the corrective measures and we'll implement that corrective measures. Okay. Then how does this come in as a feedback system? In feedback system, the principle is that everyone learns from their mistake. We have made certain mistakes. That is the reason why we had a deviation. If everything was going according to plan, if everything was perfect, there wouldn't have been any deviation, right? So, but unfortunately, there has been a deviation. Okay, so we have made a mistake. So we are using that past experience for future purpose. So what would you do in the feedback system? We'll take this corrective measure and we'll implement it in the initial stage. Okay, starting with that is where we have made a mistake. So it might be to the inputs, it might be to the process, right? So the principle is everyone can learn from the past experience. Okay, the important thing is feedback control is one in which the control is exercised on the results of the work. Okay, we are exercising control on the results of the work. So it's also known as output because we have done the job. See, we have completed our activity and then we are seeing it's based on the output. Maybe on the, it is also called corrective control or also post action control, right? Now what is so feed forward system means the managers are implementing control even before the activity begins. Okay, in the feedback system, the activity had completed, we had obtained the result, then only we saw the deviations there, and then we took some corrective measures. But in feed forward system, the managers are anticipating. Okay, they know that this is going to be a problem, and they are implement the corrective measures even before the work has started. What is the result? So the entire thing is, the result is the work will progress and we'll get to the result. Okay, if it's 1,000 is our aim, we'll reach at the 1,000. That will be the result. Okay, we had said an example, right, about the power bank. Okay. We said an example of power bank. That is, we know that our phone will not hold charge for our usage. We are traveling, so we have to carry a power bank. One other example, which don't write for the examination, but just for the point of view of you understanding, that we are going for a buffet. Okay, all you can eat buffet, right? So you'll be paying like 1,500, and you go and eat. Okay, so what would you do? You have a plan. So first and foremost thing is I have to eat for 1,500, minimum 1,500. So what would you do? You'll create a plan for accordingly, right? So that you will neglect the drinks, you'll neglect the salads, you'll neglect the fruits, right? The rice items, everything will be neglected, and you'll go directly for the more expensive ones, right? So you are taking corrective measures. You have not started eating, but you have made a measure that you need to attain minimum 1,500 or more, right? You spend 1,500, so you need to get to 4,500 or more. We are taking a corrective measure even before the process has begun. That is feed forward. You are anticipating, right? So whenever you are applying feed forward control, you have to focus on all the inputs. And what are the inputs? The human resource. What kind of person do we have? Okay. What are the physical resources? Okay. the infrastructure, all these things. Okay, the physically we can see. Then the financial resource, all these things has to be focused on, all the inputs, right? So what is the aim? Aim is here. The aim over here is to solve the problem even before they occur. Okay, so this control tries to minimize or prevent the performance deficiency through a precautionary control system. So we are beforehand itself we are taking a, we know this is going to be a deficiency issue for us. We are, that is the charger, the charge in the phone will get depleted. We know, so we are taking a precautionary measure. And what is that? We are carrying a charger, power bank, right? And the success of the control depends upon the ability of managers to anticipate problems and accurately and achieve timely interventions, right? So it is the ability of the manager. It will depend upon the manager. So what is his ability? Can he, whether he foresee the mistakes that is going to happen, and then take timely interventions, right? So how do we do this feed control system? First thing is we need to have a complete, a thorough understanding about the problem, our method, our variables, everything, right? Like a thorough analysis of the planning, control, and identify the important input variables, right? Then develop a model for this, maybe a simulation, maybe a physical model, okay? Or maybe a physical model, or maybe a simulation. Then we need to review the model and see what is the relationships. Okay, variable, what is the relationship between variables? What is the representation reality? Okay, how is it? Then we have to collect data from the data on the input and on regular terms, and then put it in the system. Okay, so the inputs may change, right? We need to have a constant monitoring of the system, and regularly assess the variations on the input and evaluate the impact of results. Okay? What is happening? What will happen to my result if this is the case? Maybe I'm going. What will happen if I change the supplier? Right? What will happen if I enforce rather than a 6-day work, 5-day work? What will happen if I employ 4-day work system? Okay? So these things we'll change the input and see what is happening, right? And evaluate and take actions. So what if the problems indicated by the model, can take actions, right? Simulation failed, right? This is the reason. So you can take the corrective actions. So if you are asked to differentiate, compare the feedback and feed-forward system, basically we know it's a management system, right? So we can apply the system approach. That is, we'll be having an input, we'll be having a transformation process, we'll be having an output, we'll be having a feedback, right? Same way we are applying this itself. So we have the input, we have the process, we have the output, we have the feedback. Also we have the standards, our desired output, right? So in feedback system, what will happen? From the output, the feedbacks, we giving it to the process. Maybe sometimes we have to adjust the process, or maybe we have to adjust the inputs, right? This goes like that. In feed forward system, in the same process, before the work starts, okay, we are not waiting. There's no relationship between the outputs. Before the work starts, we are going to apply the corrections for input. Maybe if the corrections for the process system, it is to be applied, right? That is a comparison. So feed forward system monitors inputs into a process to determine if the inputs are as planned. Okay? We have continuously monitoring the inputs and seeing that if that's what we have asked for, right? And if it is not, then we have to change. Okay, so that what is our aim? We have to aim is to attain the desired result. So that's about feed forward system, the feedback system, feed forward system. Okay, it's very easy to understand, but you may get confused when you're writing. So read the questions thoroughly and then answer accordingly. Right now, what are the requirements? Requirements of control, effective control. The first and foremost is it should be tailor-made, right? It should be tailor-made for the job or the nature of the job. Okay, right? So what is the situation? So see, control system for a rocket science, rocket engine may be different, and it will be different for a motor car engine, right? So we have to check the what is the job. We have to do it accordingly. Then what is the next thing? It should be tailor-made for the individual managers, right? So it will again depend upon the managers. He is the one who has to enforce it. So it should be according to his idea. So it should be tailor-made for individual, and making sure the control points are critical points, right? So we have said, so like if it is we are constructing a building, okay, one of the important points will be whenever we are doing concreting, right, or we are doing piling, because once it goes under the ground, there's no way we can see. So those are the points we had to. Whenever you are constructing a home, you will be going. You'll go there. You might not go every day for the work, so you'll go whenever the concreting is happening. So you'll see whether they are putting the required depth of concrete or not, right? In case of chef, the chef will taste the food only after all the ingredients has been added. Okay, right? Same way, critical points has to be identified. Okay, and that critical point should be our control points. Then the control system should be objective, accurate, unbiased, and impersonal. Okay, it should be economical and easy to maintain. Because if it is not easy to maintain, after a few times we may drop it. Okay, and if it becomes too expensive, also we may not follow that. Right? What is the next thing? It should be flexible, right? So whenever the situation comes up, right? Wherever the situation comes up, we should be able, the control system should be able to adjust to that, right? Like now the pandemic situation is there, so the traditional control system which we had followed cannot be done, right? The class committee meetings, now we have doing it in the online meeting, so it should be flexible. You cannot say that okay, it is not there. We cannot have face-to-face meeting, and you cannot do class committee meeting. You cannot do the series exams. No, it should be flexible enough. Then it should fit with the organizational culture. Okay, then it should lead to the corrective actions. Right, that is the important thing. It should not only show us what is the failure, what is the reason for failure, but it should also show us where the failures are occurring. Okay, where the failures are occurring, and who is responsible for them, and how can we correct them. Okay, all these things should be given out by a control system. If it is not, that is not a control system. Okay, that system is incomplete. So it should work so that the system can be completed, right? So that was it. Next, control techniques. We have been saying that we can do controlling can be done. Now how can this controlling be done? Okay, so there are no universally accepted control systems. Okay, like for all organizations, there is a pill for everything. Okay, there's not a sock that fits every leg, right? It's like Cinderella's shoe. Okay, it will be unique for each and every company. Okay, so no universally accepted control system available for organization. Each organization has to develop its own control system. Okay, that suits the situation and requirements. Okay, according to their business, they had to put up a control system. Okay, and control systems can be established at the different levels. We know, right? Lower level is there, middle level is there, upper level is there. All those levels can be there. There will be sometimes there will be individual control systems will be there. Yes, there will be link between the control systems, but that will be individual control system also. And now, what are the important control techniques which we can follow? The first one is budget. Okay, we have 6 in total. The first one is budget. The second one is financial statement. Third one is return on investment. Fourth one is Gantt chart. Fifth one is network analysis with using PERT. Management system, management information system. Okay, out of this, I believe you are familiar with Gantt chart and network analysis, right? You have studied this in this semester, so we don't have to go in detail. We'll be just seeing briefly what it is. Okay, management information system, it's yours. Yes. So you know what is management information system. Now budgets, we are familiar. Financial statements, again we have heard. Return on investment, we have seen it earlier. So all these things we have seen it one way or the other, right? Now we shall see briefly about each of this, right? So what is budget? The budgeting is a formulation of plan for a given future period in numerical terms. Okay, there are certain words you have to understand that becomes important. One is it is for a future. Okay, it's for a future period, and it is in numerical terms. Okay, these are the important things. The budget is for future, and it is in numerical terms, right? See, whenever we used to talk about budget, like I'm gonna buy a new phone, so your friend will ask you. So you are asking your friend for suggestion. Dude, what is I need a phone. So what is the first thing you'll ask? yeah man, what is a budget, right? So there it is in financial terms. We are thinking it in financial terms, but budgets, they are not only in financial but non-financial also. So budgets are statements of anticipated results in financial or non-financial terms. Okay, so it can be financial terms, it can be non-financial terms also. And how does this non-financial terms come in? Like unit of output, 1,000 unit, 20,000 unit. Then machine hours. Sometimes you will have a dilemma whether to buy a machine or a rent a machine. So you'll be calculating it out. How many hours do I use this machine? Okay. So daily I'm using for 2 hours. So I have to use 5 times a week, like this. So it is only 10 hours of job. So should I buy the machine? No, I can rent it out. So sometimes machine will be like I have to use it for 20 hours a day. So it's better I buy the machine. So machine working hours. Similarly, human output also. We working also can be used there. Okay. So budgets are statements of anticipated results in financial or non-financial terms. Right. Budgets are formulated before the commencement of work. So we said it's for future terms, right? Future period. So it is prepared before the commencement of work and become standard to measure, monitor, and control the work. We have put in the budget. So maybe like 10 lakh rupees. 10 lakh rupees is our budget. So we cannot go beyond budget, right? So it's a standard. So see, what are we talking about? We are talking about control mechanisms, right? Techniques for controlling. So 10 lakh. So that's my standard. So I should be able to meet the standard 10 lakh. Okay. I should be able to complete the work within 10 lakh rupees. So I can use this 10 lakh as a way to measure, monitor, and control work. So I can see, okay, it is going as per budget. So in certain cases, I can see that, okay, it will go beyond my budget. So I had to make some adjustment there. I can monitor and control the work, right? It can be used to coordinate other activities, and the feedback can improve planning and controlling, right? So maybe within the 10 lakh, this thing may not be able to complete as I planned. So I had to change my plan. So I can coordinate. I had to coordinate with other activities. Sometimes I'll have to change. Okay, that will depend. So some examples of budget. One is capital expenditure budget. Capital expenditure is again a financial statement specifying the amount of money to be spent on items that have long-term use. So it is capital expenditure. That is, I'm going to use it for a long time, like land or buildings. How much am I going to spend? That becomes capital expenditure budget. Okay. Other budget is sales budget. Okay, it shows the expected number of sales unit and expected price. Okay, how much I need this much of sales. Okay, that is my sales budget. Right. So what is budget? Basically, so budget is for future period. Right. It's a statement which we produce for future period in numerical terms. It can be financial or non-financial. Right. So it's a control mechanism. Okay, it's a tool for controlling. The second one is financial statements. Okay, so how is it different from budget? So these are prepared at the end of every financial year. Okay, the budget we prepared before, we are doing for future period, right? So financial statements, they are prepared after the year. Okay, after the financial year is complete. So maybe 2021 is our financial year. Once 2021, so March 2020 to May 2021, that will be our financial year, suppose. So we will be preparing the financial statements on May 20, after March 2021, and budget will be prepared before March 2020. Okay, so our year is March 2020 to March 2021. Budgets will be prepared before March 2020. Financial statements will be prepared after March 2021. Okay, so financial statements are prepared at the end of every financial year to assess the various financial activities and strength of an organization. What is my current scenario? What is my current situation? Am I financially sound? Okay, so to commonly used financial statements are, first one is balance sheet. Okay, again you have come across this term, right? Balance sheet. So balance sheet, so this is the term itself, balance sheet, what is remaining, right? That is balance. It's a statement of assets and liabilities which helps to determine the financial position on a particular date. It is basically a historical report showing the cumulative effect of past transaction. What is balance sheet? Balance sheet shows me what do I have as of March 2021. Okay, so I may have assets how much land do I have, how much buildings do I have, right? How many machines do, how much of machines do I have, how many workers do I employ. So these are all my assets, and I may have loans, I may have outstanding debts. Maybe I have to pay a supplier. That's are my liabilities. I may have loan on my machineries. That becomes my liabilities. Okay. So basically, what does it show? Whatever I have done. So I have taken a loan and bought a land. Okay. I have taken a loan and bought a machine. The machine is working. Machine is doing well, and I am able to repay my loan. Sometimes machine broke down or a new advancement came up. So this particular machine became useless. So that became a liability. What and all I have done in the past, all these things will be shown in the balance sheet. Okay, so it is a form of financial statement. The other one is income statement. It can be known as, it's also known as profit and loss account. Okay, so again, it is a statement prepared at the end of every accounting year to ascertain the profit earned, okay, or loss incurred. Sometimes it may be profit, sometimes it may be loss. Okay, from the business during that accounting year. What is my profit, or if it is my profit, how much is it, or if it is loss, how much is it? That will be shown by your income statement, right? That is the second one, financial statements. First one is budget, that's prepared well before, right? It shows future. Okay, how much do we have to spend for future? It can be in terms of financial terms, it can be non-financial. Only thing is it will be in numbers. Again, financial statement, it is prepared after the completion of the financial year. It shows what is my current position, what is my strength, okay, whether I'm doing in a good position or not, right? The third one is return on investment, ROI. We have seen that in earlier, right? It is the rate of return of a company can earn on the capital allocated to it. Okay, so we have started a business, right? So we have started a pen business, manufacturing business. So I have bought a land, I have put in a building over there, I have bought machineries, we have hired certain employees, so we have put in some amount, so that becomes our capital, right? We saw the capital expenditure budget, right? So that's my capital. So how much I have spent, right? So in ROI or rate of return, the profit is measured on the basis of the capital. Okay, how much is the capital used? So ROI is given by the equation net profit divided by cost of investment into 100, and investment is fixed assets, working capital, everything will be coming. So what should be our aim? ROI should be more, because profit comes in the numerator, right? Profit by investment. Okay, so my profit should be more, so ROI should be high. So if ROI is high, we are doing good. Okay, financially our performance is good. Or if ROI is down or value is low, then we are not in a good position. We have to do something. So basically, we can use it. ROI can be used as a tool for improve financial performance, right? See, we have invested 10 crore in something, and we are getting a profit of 1 lakh. So 1 lakh by 10 crore. That's a ROI. Okay. I have invested like 1 lakh. I am getting a profit of 25,000. 25,000 by 1 lakh. So you can see how it goes, right? That's about ROI. The first one is budget. The first mechanism or technique is budget. The second one is financial statement. Third one is ROI. The fourth one is Gantt chart. Okay. So you must have learned it in this semester Gantt chart, right? So this was developed by Mr. Henry L. Gantt, and it shows basically the relationship between activities and time, right? So we can use this for tracking our progress. So the number of works to complete a project can be easily planned and compared. Okay, so what we do, we arrange this in a series of interrelated works, right? So Gantt chart consists of two coordinates. The horizontal axis shows us time, and the vertical axis shows us the jobs or activities. Okay, so this is a typical example of a Gantt chart. Okay, so you can see here the horizontal axis, it is 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Okay, So this shows us our time. The vertical axis, that is shows task 1, task 2, task 3, task 4, task 5. Right? So vertical axis is task or activities or jobs. Horizontal activity it is time. So we can say, so let it be in days. Okay. So task 1, to complete task 1, we have like 2 days. Okay. So after task 1 has completed, will start task 2. So task 2 will start after 2 days. So 2 to like 8. Okay. Starting on 2, ending on 8. Right. Then task 3 will start at 8th day until end at 16th day. Right. So what does it mean? So see, to start the task 3, I'm going to start the task 3 only after on 8th day, right? So the person who has to perform the task, I need to call him only on for the 8th day, right? So I can save my that much of amount. Okay, I don't want him on my site on the 0th day. Okay, 0th day only the person who has completed the task 1 can come. So he will come, he'll complete the task. On 2nd day he will leave, right? The 2nd day the next person will come, he'll start his task, he'll complete the task by 8th and he'll leave. So next person will come. So there's a coordination is there. Okay, so I can visually understand the work and get a summary, right? So based on this I can say that my work, okay, our work will be completed on 25th day, right? So seeing this chart itself, I can see 25th day will be completed, right? So and also what will happen, what happens is, but the problem is this is only 5 tasks. So what happens if there are 100 tasks? It will become very complicated. So that in the reason Gantt charts are little by little they are getting thrown out basically. Okay? People are replacing Gantt chart by network analysis, as you guys know. And another thing what you can understand here is what will happen. So how can I use this Gantt chart as a control mechanism? How does it work? So I know the task 2 has to complete by 8th day. Okay, so if I monitor task 2 and I'm seeing that he is not going to complete it by 8th day, what will happen? Task 3 will get delayed. Okay, task 3 will start only. I'm planned accordingly. Task 3 to start after task 2. Task 3 will delay. Task 4 will get delayed. Task 5 will get delayed. So I can control task 2. So what will I do? I'll say you have to complete it by 8th day. If that is not possible, hire someone extra, work overtime, take overtime, I don't care, get it done by 8th day, because otherwise only I can meet my 25th day deadline, right? So the problem with this Gantt chart is, one thing is if too many activities come up, it becomes more complicated, right? The other thing is it doesn't show critical activities, right? You have found out critical activities. You know what is the critical path, how we have found the critical activities. So there's no clear-cut show how the critical activities are there. And what is critical activity? Delay in that activity, particular activity will cause a delay in the project, right? That is about Gantt chart. The fifth mechanism is network analysis using PERT. So we know there are 2 techniques, CPM and PERT is there. Critical path method is there, program evaluation and review technique is there, right? So basically what would you do? We'll draw a critical network will be drawn. We'll find out the critical path. Just remember, right? You have solved the you have done network analysis, right? You solved it, right? So you can use PERT to analyze the time needed to complete each activity and find the minimum time needed to complete the project. And what is this minimum time? That's your critical path, right? And what are the steps involved in this? So basically, where do we use this for large projects? Okay, for small projects, even the Gantt chart or the advanced one, right? Milestone charts, they can be utilized. But for large projects, we have to use network analysis. And how does this network analysis work? First thing is we need to specify the individual activities, like what has to be done. Okay? If we take a building for the example, site clearance, right? We have to clear the site. Then we need to dig out the trench so that we can put in the foundation. Then walls has to be erected, plastering has to be done, like that. We know what are the activities. So we'll list out the activities, all the significant activities. And what is the the specialty of a network? The network will have only one starting and one end, right? So then we'll arrange the activities in a sequence, right? In a logical sequence. That is first excavation, then concreting, right? It is not other way around, concreting and then excavation. No, it is first excavation, then concreting. We are arranging it in a logical sequence. Then draw the network diagram, show the relationship between them, calculate the time, estimated time, right? Then identify the critical path. So we know critical path is the longest path, starting from the starting and ending at the end event. So it will be the longest path or the minimum time required for completing the project. Now what is the use? Then use this network to plan, monitor and control the project. So example, I believe the net is slow. Okay, yeah, this is an example for a network, right? We have drawn a network over here. Now we need to find out the time or time estimate. We know early starting time, latest starting time, early finishing time, latest finishing time. That is CPM is the case, or expected time. If it is, we'll go forward TE, then we'll come backward TL, find out TL, latest completion time, earliest completion time, find out the critical path, right? So now what are the advantages? The advantages is the manager is forced to plan everything in detail, right? No activities can be missed. He has to do everything, think about every aspect, because it is easy for other people to find out also. So he forces manager to plan in detail and to define what must be done to accomplish the objectives on time. So he has to think about a lot. Actually, in earlier time and all, sometimes certain companies still they do that. What they'll do, they'll sit there. All of them managers will sit together in the room. They'll have a whiteboard and they'll start writing. They'll start sticking sticky notes. Right here, the yellow notes will be there. They will put in the sticky note. So that can be teared up and like that. They will sit and have a discussion and then only decide upon it. Then they visualize the entire project. So I can visualize the entire project based on the network, like you have done it. Identify and monitor critical activities. So I need there may be thousands of activities, but the critical activity will be a few one. So being a manager, I need not worry about all the 1,000. I need to worry about the maybe 10 or 20 activities. Those are critical. So I need to make sure that these activities are on time. So resource utilization can be done wisely. Okay, and what is the problem with here? The problems are, it is based on time estimate, right? PE is equal to optimistic time plus 4 times likely time plus pessimistic time divided by 6. So it's based on estimates. So estimates can have, and we cannot be 100% sure. That's why we find out variance and all, right? The division of activities may not be possible. See, here I can say, right? Digging a trench, putting foundation, then building a wall. So that is possible in that particular case. It might not be possible in every scenarios. Okay. Manage the information system, we'll see in the next class. Basically, it is defined as a system of gathering, integrating, comparing, analyzing, and dispersing internal and external information to the organization in a timely, effective, and efficient manner. Right. So I believe many of you would be doing a project in this projects like this, right? Information systems for a hospital, information system for maybe for a library, a college. You might be familiar with this also, right? We'll see this in the next class. Okay, we'll stop here for today. And about the quiz, a quiz has been scheduled for tomorrow, 2 o'clock. So there will be no other reminder. Log in on time. For complete it, 10 questions, 15 marks, right? So do well. Okay. So if you have any doubt,